Well, hello and welcome to another bonus session. I am your host, Brett Curry. Really excited you could join us for this session. And man, I am stoked about this topic. We're talking about YouTube for top of funnel. So, YouTube for prospecting, very, very powerful channel. Lots of little nuances, though, and things you need to learn and to look out for as you kind of build out these campaigns, but very excited about it. Now, I do want to lay out the ground rules like we have for each of these sessions. Remember, this is the beta. So you are the first group, part of the privileged to be part of this initial group. We do want your feedback. So feedback on the core sessions, feedback on these bonus sessions. Some of the bonus material we're just trying to get to you, but let us know if there's anything that's confusing or a hang up or anything you'd like to see more of, and we will use that feedback to craft the final version. So remember, you're getting the final version of this course for free, which comes out in March, which we are going to be building and expanding on the beta version. So let us know your feedback. But with that backdrop, let's get started. So YouTube is a phenomenal channel to tell your story and introduce prospects to your brand. And it's great because video is so powerful at telling a story and so powerful about creating desire and about convincing someone of the unique benefits of your product and making them very interested. And then another reason why it's such a great channel is because you can target people based on a variety of things, but one of which is their intent. What are they looking for? What are they trying to do? And so it's just a great platform. I remember, and I mentioned this, I think, in one of the earlier sessions, but my background was actually in offline marketing. So right out of college, I was doing TV and radio advertising for businesses. And I just remember seeing the impact of TV and how someone who was featured in a TV commercial would have people stopping them, mentioning to them, "Hey, I saw you on TV. I saw the video. It's so cool." There's like this celebrity effect that can be created with video. And then I just still believe video has the power to sell almost like nothing else. The issue, though, has always been with TV, as an example, lots of waste. So people get up and go to the kitchen when a commercial comes on, or they skip it on their DVR or whatever. And so YouTube is powerful because with the TrueView format, and I do encourage you to go back to the YouTube session. We cover all the details about what is YouTube, TrueView, and how all that works. So I'm not going to rehash all of that in this bonus because you've already got the core session. But as a quick reminder, you only pay if someone actually watches the video or clicks through to your site. So that's why it's called TrueView. So they need to either watch 30 seconds of the video or all of the video if it's less than 30 seconds, or they need to click through to your site to find out more. Otherwise, you do not pay. Now, again, as we've been talking, most of the other sessions are more about the bottom of this funnel, more in that decision stage where maybe someone discovers you on Facebook or they discover you on Amazon or something else. Now they're looking for you. We want to be everywhere your customers are. That's the foundation of this course, more on the premise of remarketing through all of Google's channels. Well, Google channels are also great at top of funnel as well. It's just a little trickier. But in this session, we're going to be talking about using YouTube for the awareness piece. Now, let me tell you what does not usually happen with YouTube. So someone's on YouTube. They're maybe either messing around looking at music videos, or maybe with the type of targeting we're going to show, they're looking for product reviews or recipes or how-tos that are related to your product. They now see your killer pre-roll video that sells them on your product. What will they do next? What is their likely next step? Will they click and buy, or will it still take some time? And here's what we usually see. It's often, especially at top of funnel, they see this pre-roll ad. Maybe it's on a tablet, maybe it's on a mobile device, or maybe it's on a desktop. They see it, they visit the site, but they do not purchase because they weren't maybe ready for a purchase, and they just learned about you and they'd never heard of you before. And so the video was enough to get them interested. The video was enough to get them to click through the site. It was enough to get them engaged, but they're not quite ready to buy. Think about your own behavior. When was the last time you saw a video ad and made a purchase right then and there? Probably doesn't happen very often, but what does happen a lot is someone views the video, clicks through to the site. Now they maybe come back later through a branded search, or now we can hit them with our other remarketing campaigns and get them back to purchase. So looking at this campaign type, top of funnel YouTube, looking at it for what it is. It's an introductory channel to get someone introduced to your platform so they can hopefully buy later. So again, I gave this example in the main YouTube session, but this is called shoppable TrueView or TrueView for shopping. So basically it's your TrueView pre-roll video ad. As you can see, you got the skip ad button right there. And then your product listing ads or Google Shopping ads would show up next to this, or on a mobile device there right under the video. This was from when I was considering and kind of shopping the Pixel 2 just for fun. I did go with the iPhone 10, just in case you're interested. Phenomenal phone, blown away by it, the best phone I've ever owned. But anyway, this was a great targeting by shop moment here where, hey, this is someone like exploring the Google Pixel 2 and now here's some of their product. We did the same thing for one of our clients with iPhone products, whereas people are looking at, iPhone 10 reviews, or back in the iPhone 7 days, iPhone 7 reviews, or even best iPhone cases, things like that. We started to show pre-roll ads for our client with the PLAs. Worked very well. Again, it did not work in terms of direct conversions, but it worked in terms of assisted conversions and getting someone into the funnel so they could buy later. So here are the keys to success. One, you have to have a good video. And I talked about that in the main YouTube session, so I'm not going to rehash that here. But if you don't have a video that clearly communicates the benefit and that provides some social proof and shows the product in action and makes someone say, man, I want that product, then the rest of this is going to be really handicapped. It's going to be severely limited. You need to have a good video. So go back and watch that session if you need to. But then what we'll talk about today is then you need to have smart targeting, right? We can't just spray and pray. We can't just show these video ads to anybody. We have to be smart with our targeting, and we'll talk about how to layer in different levels of targeting to really make that work. And then we got to go low bids, right? We cannot afford, this is not the same thing as Google Shopping or even text ad search, where maybe we're willing to pay 30, 40, 50 cents or maybe $1 per click, or, depending on the product, maybe more than that. We can't do that with YouTube, right? This is an awareness piece. We got to have low bids where we're paying next to nothing to get these impressions. And then finally, good tracking. Got to be able to connect all the dots and see how this is working, because even though there are not a lot of direct conversions, there are more, because this is more of an introductory channel, we can't just hope that it's working. We still need to be able to measure and connect the dots. It's just not the same as measuring a Google Shopping campaign, as an example. So let's talk about targeting first. And so again, TOF YouTube, that's top of funnel YouTube, but our recommendation is that you layer in at least two types of targeting. And so if you kind of think about the Venn diagram, and I'll show you what this looks like in AdWords in a minute, but you've got one type of targeting is a circle, the other type of targeting is another circle, and they kind of, where they overlap, that's what you're hitting. And so layering in two types of targeting, this will all make sense as I show you in AdWords, but usually what we recommend is that you combine audience and intent targeting. So audience would be, demographics, what that person looks like, gender, income, online behavior, things like that. And then intent is kind of what they're doing. What are they doing on YouTube? So an example of that would be similar audiences. So if you're used to Facebook, these again are like lookalike audiences. These are audiences where Google has one of your remarketing audiences, and then they're building a similar or lookalike audience to that remarketing audience. And then you're layering in keywords. So now you're saying, I want someone, Google, show my ads to someone who looks like one of my buyers and someone who's searching for some of my products on YouTube. So someone that's looking for skincare, best skincare products, skincare reviews, things like that. So layering of those two. Now, you could also do this. We've done this a decent amount. This may seem like it's doubling up on the same type of targeting, and it sort of is. It just allows us to be more refined. So we're saying a similar audience plus demographics. So the similar audience should mainly take care of it, but maybe want to layer in a few demographics as well. That's not, I'm going to say for most of you, don't worry about this. Because of the size of your similar audiences, you probably just want to do similar audiences or similar audiences plus keyword. That's the most common. The other one I'm going to show you, though, as we build these out, is keyword targeting plus custom affinity. So an affinity audience, those are people that have an affinity towards something. So there are some set there are some set affinity audiences like foodies and people that travel a lot and things like that. But custom affinity is where you can tell Google, hey, build an affinity audience of people like those who visit my competitors' websites, right? So let's list some of our competitors. Google, if anyone visits the competitor, or if they look like those who do, put them into an affinity audience, kind of a custom affinity audience. And then there's one more we'll talk about, in-market audiences. We'll show what that looks like in a minute as well. And then this is super critical. You want to bid low. We're talking about CPVs. Again, that's cost per view, so different than cost per click. That's the rate we pay if someone either views to the billable point of the video or if they click through to the site. We'll pay this CPV rate, cost per view rate. We're going to be kind of wanting to pay in that penny to 3 penny CPV range. And then tracking, these are the 3 things you want to look at when it comes to tracking. Do look at conversions, right? Because there may be some, and not many, promise not many, that will, immediately see the ad and click through and purchase. Think about Purple Mattress. Purple Mattress really launched their company using YouTube video ads. But how many people watched a 90-second video or 60-second video and then immediately spent $1,000 on a mattress? Almost none. Like that, but that's what got them into the funnel. That's what got them started, and then they converted in other ways. So the other types of conversion we need to watch. One is view through. So those are people that see the video, they do not click, but then they do purchase within a given window. So that's an important metric to look at. And then finally, lists. Now this is maybe the most important. And this is where we start building lists of people that engage with us on YouTube. So people that watch the video. And then what we can do is we can layer those audiences, those YouTube lists, into other campaigns, right? So we build these YouTube viewer lists and layer them onto search and shopping. And the reason we do that is because that's the next logical step, right? If someone watches the video, they don't buy immediately, which most won't. Now they're going to be going back to Google and maybe looking for us by name or looking for a category, trying to find us. And now we want to bid extra, we want to bid more on that person that's on that list, but we also want to see the performance of that list. So when you add that list to a campaign that's further in the funnel, you can see the performance of it in AdWords. So we'll talk about that in a minute as well. So just like I talked about, very likely someone's going to see the video, not buy immediately, but come back later. So let's actually dig in to AdWords and start making some of this happen. So let me zoom in just a bit. I am going to be looking at the old interface. I think the old interface is a little bit better for what we're doing today. So that's how I'm going to do it. You don't have to be. I filtered by video. You can be in all campaigns. Doesn't matter. Then we're going to click on plus campaigns. Choose video as an option. I am going to choose the shopping type here. So this is going to be shoppable TrueView or TrueView for shopping, where our product listing ads are shown right next to the video. One thing I'll mention, if you're doing remarketing, YouTube remarketing, I almost always choose shopping because that's someone that's been to your site, they just haven't purchased yet. Now when they see our video on YouTube, I'd love for them to easily just go right to the product detail page and purchase. For top of funnel YouTube, I've seen this pretty split. Like for the cell phone, iPhone accessory client, having the PLAs there was good because I get someone right to the product detail page. But if your product requires a little extra selling, or maybe you're not, an impulse purchase, then maybe the companion banner works well. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute, and you can also review the YouTube session on that. But let's just start with shopping. So let's do similar audience plus keyword first. So I'm going to do YouTube, and I'm going to name this where we can see what it is. Similar audience. I'm going to do a purchasers list plus keyword. Okay, so that's the name of the campaign and the type of targeting we're doing so that we know just by looking at the name of the campaign what it is. You are not required to give your campaigns a good name. Call it whatever you want. This is just for you. Does not impact the performance. It's just so you can see it. I typically like to pick the product. So let's just say we'll probably be doing some of the moisturizing products here. So we'll pick those 4. And now we're going to do a daily budget. This can be anything. I typically recommend, hey, start with $5 to $10 a day. Don't go crazy here. So we'll just do 10 as an example. Campaign start and end date, don't need that unless you just want it. Delivery method, I want to keep that standard. That means they'll show ads evenly over time. If you remember back to the Google Shopping session, I do like accelerated for Google Shopping, but not for YouTube. So basically, if you choose accelerated for YouTube, you're going to blow through all your impressions early in the day. I kind of want to space that out while we're learning and seeing what's working. With Google Shopping, because it just works so well, I want to know immediately when we're running out of budget, so I choose accelerated. Anyway, networks, all you can choose is YouTube videos when you've chosen shopping, or when you make this designation, then the only network you can choose is YouTube. So that is kind of set. Here we go. So now we're going to choose our targeting. We're going to go United States, English. I do often like to set bid adjustments for mobile. This isn't 100% necessary because we're going to be bidding so low. But we'll go ahead and start with this. We'll do just a 25% bid decrease. Same here, 25% bid decrease. So there we go. Not going to make a lot of difference here because we're bidding so low. I do not worry about those settings at this point. Hit save and continue. Now we're going to create our ad group. So again, I'm going to name this something that we can identify later. Okay, I'm going to grab a video. This is actually not a video we would typically use, but it works for this example. So I'm going to drop in that URL here, and then with that, then you can create the actual ads. So we're going to add in Boom by Cindy Joseph. Add that in. Now, that's not what we want to do. Going to add that right there. Going to name this, whatever the name of the video is. I think this is Boomstick Trio. Doesn't matter. Again, it's just so it's easier when you go back and look at how things are working. I'm going to want to start here at about 3 cents for these initial bids, and that's going to be important because we really only want to pay in that penny to 3 pennies range. So when we bid 3 cents, Google's estimating we'll pay about a penny per view. It's great. That's kind of what we want. Now I will potentially bid more if it's a really popular video, a video that's in high demand and it's harder to get your ad in front of. I'll bid a little more there. That's usually a good idea. If this were a remarketing campaign where we're already bidding a decent amount, then I'd only increase this by maybe 50% or something. But 50% of 3 cents is not huge, so go ahead and make that 100. And then here's where we dig in to our targeting. So I'm not going to worry about demographics or interests in this particular case, because if you remember, this is similar audience plus keyword. So we're going to open this up and first look at remarketing. Now, a similar audience isn't the same thing as a remarketing list, but that's how you get there. So we'll click right here, and we're going to choose similar to remarketing lists. And this is where we've got all our lists here. What I want to do with this one, and I would recommend you create ad groups for different similar to lists. Right here, I'm doing purchasers. Remember, I called this similar audience to purchasers plus keyword. So that's how we're going to do this one. Now we'll scroll down here to purchasers, similar to purchasers. With this, it doesn't matter really the window, because again, this is just the persona. Google's getting this persona of, hey, I'm going to find people that are like this. So the recency isn't all that important because we're not targeting these actual purchasers, just people that look like them. So I choose the largest list, so it looks like 30, 60 days, same thing. Maybe just layer them both in there just to be safe. I'd add in that as well, just to kind of get all of them that we can get. Okay, so now we're going to click done. So now we've got our similar audiences layered in there. Now we're going to narrow it a little bit more. So now we're going to layer in keywords. So now you may be asking, well, why does that matter? Because we know we're showing up to a similar audience, and that's a good question. But even though they're similar, even though they look alike, I want to look at people. I want to layer in some intent targeting. So I also want to find people that are looking for our something like our product. So that's a beauty of YouTube. This is a differentiator between YouTube and say Facebook as an example, where we know, hey, someone's looking for skincare. Someone's watching videos about skincare. Someone's watching videos about moisturizer. So I'll just give you an example. I'm going to type in moisturizer. And I think I did misspell that, but you get the idea. Oops, my bad. Let's start here. Skincare. So I'm likely going to want to focus on all of those, right? So any of those. So I'm going to do bulk ad. That's going to add all of them. I'm going to go skin cream. And I'm going to add that. You can see that's updating my view count over here. Now I'm going to go skin. Here we go. Find some keywords related to moisturizer. Going to bulk add those. And then, that may be good. So that may be exactly what I want to do right now. So I can click done, and you can see this is being updated right here. Usually, if you're layering keywords and similar audiences, you want to add lots of keywords. If you just have one keyword, and remember I talked about the Venn diagram, that's what this is right here. If you just have one keyword, then this overlap of the keyword plus the similar audience is not going to be very many people. So that's why you need keywords, and I'd actually probably do a few more than this as well. I would even maybe look at makeup, even though that's not quite the same. Finding people that are looking at makeup. So now I know if they look like my customer and they're looking at some makeup stuff, yeah, let's add that as well. So now I'm going to add those keywords in. That's going to update that more. So now we're pretty much maxing our views. So this is back to where we were before we added keywords, and that's just because there's more than enough people to spend our daily budget. Because I only set a daily budget of $10. So then I'm going to save that ad group. And now we're off to the races. For whatever reason, okay, so this didn't save because this is so weird. Sometimes Google does this. You probably saw auto-filled boom, and now it's just thinking that's what this is. But anyway, so I'll clean that up and then save that. But now that ad group is created. So now we've got similar audience to purchasers plus keywords, and that is ready to rock and roll. So let's talk now about the next campaign type. We'll go back here. I'm not going to save that because this was just for example purposes. That was not the right video. So we're going to go here. We're going to create a video. Oh, and actually, okay. So there's one step I have to do before this. So we want to target those custom affinity audiences, right? And that's where you tell Google, and my favorite custom affinity audience is when you tell Google, hey, find people like those who visit my competitors. And it's not quite the same as Google actually finding the people that did visit your competitors, but it's as close as we can get. And so I like that kind of custom affinity audience plus keyword. That's a super powerful combo. So let's, so I want to continue without saving changes. So then what you have to do, you can't create the custom affinity audience from a video campaign. I don't know why, but you just can't. So we're going to look at how to create that audience, but you have to do that from a display campaign. So I'm just going to choose one of these display campaigns. Does not matter. You may have to create your own display campaign just to be able to create this audience. But basically, we're going to create an ad group. You don't even have to finalize the ad group. This is just where you build the audience. So here we go. We're going to click on interest in remarketing. And now we're going to look at a category. So we're going to first choose affinity audiences. And then we're going to choose custom affinity. Right? Just like this. And now we're going to click on create custom affinity. So this is where we're going to start adding websites, right? So what I did, and I'll show you in a minute, I put like Sephora.com and Ulta.com and other makeup and skincare sites. So adding those in kind of as competitors to look at. Now, may want to layer in some demo on this too, because some of the Ulta visitors and Sephora visitors are younger than the Boom target audience, but still it's a good starting point. So let me back up. I'll show you what I actually created. So this is it, called competitor visitors. So let's look at the details of that. So Ulta.com, Sephora.com, IT Cosmetics, PH Cosmetics, and this cosmetic shop here as well. So then it's going to kind of give a breakdown here. So as you can see, if that's all we did, those demos are wrong, right? These are people looking for cosmetics and looking for skincare products, but those demos are wrong. So this is where we're going to have to layer in some demos. So I do still want people visiting those sites, but I only want them, in this range, okay? Which we can do that in a second. So that's already created. So there you go. But that's kind of a weird, wonky step. You got to go to a display campaign to build the custom affinity audience, but then you can actually target it in YouTube. So don't need to save those changes. Let's go back to here to YouTube. So what we'll do is we'll call this again, call it YouTube affinity. Actually, it's called custom affinity because that's what it is. Plus demo plus keyword. Okay, that may seem like a lot, but it'll be worth it in the end. And so we're gonna do the standard. So standard means companion banner rather than where shopping means the PLA, so the product listing ads right next to the video. So we're gonna do standard. We're just gonna do the in-stream or video discovery because we're not doing a 6-second bumper ad. So keep that there. We're going to set a budget of $10 a day. Not going to worry about those like we did before. Usually, you want to do both of these. So YouTube search, YouTube videos, most of them are going to come right here. If you want to be more conservative, you can get rid of the display network. So these are our partner sites where YouTube videos are embedded, where your pre-roll may run on that site. So it may not be on YouTube.com, but it's a YouTube video embedded on another site, and so it's going to be a YouTube pre-roll. So typically I like to select that though. We can always change that later. Going to go United States. Yes, of course, keep English. I'm not going to worry about the device targeting on this one. Click Save and Continue. Now we're going to call this, same thing. So custom affinity plus demo plus keyword. Okay. I'm going to go back to our trio ad. Again, this just for sample purposes. That's not the ad we're using, but just need to get something in there. I'm just going to do in-stream for this right now. And so we're going to do boom by Cindy Joseph. Okay, now that's going to be there. I would again change the name here. Trio. I would in this case I would choose the option right above this to upload an image. I don't have an image handy, so I'm not going to do that. But if you were to click that, the dimensions are 300 by 60. Going to look like that. That's where the companion banner is going to go. That's where we're going to put some kind of call to action. It can be as simple as discover more. It could be kind of your benefit statement. The most beautiful you, whatever. But click here to learn more. It could be a discount. If that's the kind of the angle you're taking. I'll just keep it to that because I don't have an image to upload right now. Max CPV, we're going to go with our 3-cent bid like before. Going to do plus 100 for popular videos. And then now we're going to dig in to our targeting. So I do want to layer in some demographics because if you remember, those makeup sites, those skincare sites we targeted, the bulk of their visitors were younger. So we don't want the younger category, right? We want the older category. Not interested in dudes at this point. So we're going to go just female, just so we can identify as female. Not a lot of guys buying skincare products for their woman. In most cases, their significant other, whatever. Sorry, I know that may I did not mean that in a derogatory fashion. I meant that in a good way. But anywho, most dudes are not buying products for the female in their life, but women are. So we want to be in this older demo. We don't want to take the chance of the unknown because we're going broad here. So we want to just focus in on these areas. Okay, so that's our demo. Now we got that. Now we're going to continue here. We're going to look at remarketing. So the custom affinity audience is actually in the remarketing tab. So then we're going to look at affinity. we're going to look at, sorry, it's not there, my bad. I always get confused here. It's not there. It is an interest. So we'll look at interest, affinity audiences. We're going to choose custom affinity. And then this is the one we built just a minute ago. So voila, there it is. Going to add that in. Okay. So now we're going to click done. Because we're layering in a lot of targeting, it is going to estimate that we'll pay a little bit more. So with the previous campaigns, we were paying like a penny. This is going to be 2 pennies because we are layering in quite a bit of targeting. Usually makes it a little more expensive. Now we're going to layer in keywords. Okay. So now we're going to look at, hey, I'm going to add in probably all the keywords I was looking at before. I'm not going to add them all in right now for sake of time, but you kind of get the idea. Type in makeup, bulk, add that stuff, choose, let's see how that actually did. Okay, yeah. So now we're going to click done, and there we go. Now we've got this combo of demo plus people that are like those of my competitors, plus people that are looking for keywords. So now, man, that's a pretty targeted, pretty specific group. So we're going to save that. And now we're off to the races with that campaign as well. Now, once these are running, you can dig in here and start to see, you know, hey, how are these keywords working? So you can look at specific keywords. You can pause specific keywords. You can look at, you know, the specific demographics and see, you know, how these demographics are working. And you can adjust as you go. But you want to start, you know, with kind of putting your best foot forward. So then what you're going to want to do, let's go back to the shared library because we talked about audiences and layering in audiences. So now that we see our audiences, what we're going to want to look at is let's look at all our YouTube lists. So filter that. It's going to be type. And now, no, it's not. My bad. I'm going to look at the name, YouTube. I think that will work. If not, well, that's fine. Okay. So don't worry about the filter, but we're going to look through here and see all of our YouTube lists. So here we go. So subscribe to Cindy Joseph, similar video ad viewers. So here we go. This was someone that's watched a video ad. Now we also created a custom combination of people that viewed a video and visited the site. And so that was a custom combination list we built. We talked about custom combinations in a previous session. I would not look at similar to viewed. I would look at those that viewed, right? So let's just use this one as an example. Now what you're going to want to do is in your search, in your branded search campaign even, in your shopping campaigns, you're going to layer in these videos. So let me show you what that looks like. So let's just go here, shopping. We'll go back to campaigns, going a little bit slow. So we'll look right here, and we're going to look at adding in that as an audience. And the idea here is not that we want to necessarily bid extra. We just want to see how it's performing. So then, you know, you want to layer in that YouTube list. So we're going to look at plus targeting. So it's going to be at the campaign level. We're going to look here, and now we're going to find the video, and here we go. So I want that. That's not very big. I go ahead and add this, and there we go. So now we want to add these in because now we can see how these are performing in shopping. We do want to choose bid only. If you choose target and bid, that means it will only target people that are on these lists. If you do bid only, that just means you're observing how it does and you're adjusting the bid. In the new AdWords interface, it's called observe and target. And so you choose observe only. Go ahead and save that. And yes, they do comply. So there we go. Now we can begin to watch that performance. Going to be super important that we do that. And so there you go. There are two of my favorite types of top of funnel YouTube campaigns. The things you're going to want to watch. So you are going to want to watch those lists. You are going to want to watch view through conversions. You're going to want to add view through conversions to those campaigns, I'm sorry, nothing you need to do to add to the campaign. Just when you're reviewing the campaigns, add that column, just like we did here. Then you're going to want to look at the list performance, you're also going to look at overall brand lift. So take note of when you start those top of funnel campaigns and see how searches for your brand name increase over time. We've seen that again and again, where after you run the YouTube campaigns for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, you may see an increase in branded searches in the 30 to 40 to 50% or more. And so that just means people are seeing the ad, they're not buying, but then they're going back and searching for you, just like we said. So there you go. Bonus. Looking at YouTube for prospecting. This is not one you just set and forget. You've got to be watching this one. You've got to set it up. Then you've got to kind of watch your bids and adjust as you go. So that's a wrap, folks. Love to hear your feedback on this one. We'll build this out in a little more detail kind of in the final version of this course, but this will be enough to get you started, get you rocking and rolling. And so until the next video, thanks for tuning in.